Gemini, this is all about you. This is your weekly oracle and tarot card reading, adjusting from Born Without Boundaries. This is an energy reading, so it's not a horoscope. It applies wherever Gemini energy influences your natal chart or influences your life, so you could be dealing with a Gemini. If so, pull up a chair because this reading is for you. I make a new Gemini video every single week, so please do click like and maybe even share this video, and then subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you'll get the new notifications of when I upload all the content that you're looking for. There's always an extended, so this reading is going to pick up on the themes and energies, and what the extended does is it goes in deep and susses out details, particulars, and personalizes the reading with a full tarot card spread, and that also includes your romance reading. So please do, if you're looking for your romance reading for Gemini this week, the link is below. I'm going to start out always with a crowning energy, which tells us sort of the feeling and the mood of the moment. And then we'll do a full spread with a central energy, which is the driving force for you. And then the grounding energy finally is basically what's going to rescue you and save you or really keep you rooted. Okay, let's get into it. For your crowning energy. Gemini, 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 Gemini. Crowning, 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 Gemini. Nope, crowning Gemini. Here we go. Trust in divine detours. This is Sagittarius energy. Now, what's significant about Sagittarius energy for right now is that it is the south node to your north node, and you, Geminis, are the north node right now. It has shifted, right? So for the next 2.5 years, your energy is sort of that guiding force through the tunnel to a better self for this planet. But Sagittarius energy is the south node, so it's where we began. And isn't it really interesting that yes, we began in chaos, and Sagittarius energy is very chaotic energy. Sagittarius is like that energy. They like it because it fuels their fire, it fuels their spirit. They don't like to settle down. They are the philosophers. They like to, in other words, they like their minds to go far and long, and they actually like to make themselves go far and long. They love to travel. They don't like to be confined or held back from another experience of life. And so chaos is something that actually fuels them. And in a lot of ways, they feel very comfortable with it. So isn't it interesting how that is where we began? When the energy, when the North Node entered Gemini, we were in a very chaotic place. So it's you leading people from a very chaotic place. Now, primary communication, how do we get people to talk to each other? It has been very chaotic, hasn't it, in this world, in that we have stopped talking to each other. We just make decisions about each other in a world, how ironic, that doesn't want prejudice or racism. We prejudice each other all the time, and we don't want to talk to each other. We don't want to talk to each other with people who are different than us. We don't want to talk to each other with people who have different opinions than us. And when we break down and when we stop talking, that's when we get chaos. So it is this mentality, this beauty that you have about this Gemini energy that is telling us, let's talk to each other. If we're starting in chaos, let's make sense of the chaos. The only way we can do it, we can't know everything. You and I can't know everything. And I know that Geminis know that one person can't know everything, but if you connect to and communicate with other people, you can know a heck of a lot more. And that's this beautiful energy and what you can teach the world. So are we starting in a chaotic energy? Yes, but what is the divine detour away from that? It is the North Node. What is going to make sense in that? It is talking. Now, I know that sounds all really great, right? You're like, awesome, okay. But how does that affect my life? Okay, it affects your life big time. And I know those of you who are especially spiritual already know that. But what does this mean? This means that there is chaos and a little bit of tumultuousness, but that you're coming out of it. And what it means is you're coming out of it by communicating. And you're not necessarily, you're communicating with everybody. You're communicating with the people who may be standing in judgment of you, as well as communicating with people outside of and objective observers to tell them your story, because you know better than anybody that popular opinion can sway how a situation turns. And so you're trusting in somebody or a group that maybe you did not trust before. You're talking to people, you're telling your story, you're connecting with a different people to give you a different perspective, to give you a different understanding, and maybe to give you a different out. This is unexpected help, right? That's what this is. This is, who would have ever thought that me turning this way would actually be helpful? That's what's coming in your life. This is what's crowning your energy. This detour that you took, this unexpected turn, is helping you a great deal. And it has to do with you talking and speaking and reaching out to people. Let's get into your reading. You are never alone. What did I say? 4 + 2. This is energy. Could be love and romance, of course, but also heart and health, a healthy heart, happiness. But this is connection. This is communion. This is linking with somebody else and trusting them. This is being loved, essentially, being accepted and being cared about and being taken care of by family, especially by family. You may have decided to go back home, or to go live with family, or be visiting family, or you may have been taken away from them, but knowing that you need to go back because there's a sense of, I need the people around me that I really, really trust right now. Seeing the big picture, this is awakening, and knowing that it's not just about you. That everything that's happening right now is not just about you, that it's actually a part of a larger movement, which could be why you're caught, right? That things are so difficult for you right now, like I said, because there's that mob mentality that's sort of striking out against you. So your understanding and your realization is, oh, it's not just about what this one person thinks about me. It's about what the whole family thinks about me, or what the whole community thinks about me. So let me reach out to them too. Let me understand, I'm now understanding the link between everybody and this one person. Understanding that sometimes it's better to start from the peripheral and go in than start inside and go out. Freedom is yours. This is Aquarian energy. At this point, I feel like it's still a longing, but it is to be free, to be released from confinement and restraints. But you know what this is? This is mental freedom, because you've solved a problem. You've figured something out. Now you get it. Something had been really perplexing you, like temple scratching. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why maybe everybody's listening to this person, or I don't get why this person has such an advantage over me right now, or I don't get it. And the freedom is now from this mental anguish, because now you get it. Now you understand that it was about everybody around them that was giving them strength, everybody around them that was giving them power, right? And once you start attacking that peripheral, not attacking, but like winning over that peripheral and saying, hey, have you even talked to me? Why don't we have a conversation? Once you start becoming a person to those people who are your haters, it's much more difficult for them to hate on you. And it's almost like you got that. You finally understood it and you realized it. And that's what's really starting to chip away at the pressure, because as you chip away from that peripheral, the pressure gets released, and finally it will dissipate, and that one person will be left alone, and they'll be a lot easier to handle that way. So there is a bit of strategy here. Tend to the small things. And this is your central energy. This is the energy that it's like it's goading you. It's irritating you. You know it, but you're not intimidated by it because you get it now. You see that it really isn't about the mouse that you see running through the house. It's about all the ones that have infested the walls, and that this has been building up over time. A lot of this has been building up, and a lot of this has nothing actually to do with you. It's just that you and your situation is fitting right into, it's like slipping right into whatever pocket somebody else wants to put things in. Gemini, you get that there's an infestation. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, sorry about that. You get that there's an infestation. And it's tiny. It's the tiny people. It's these little people that are really, they don't have any strength except for their mob, their ability to get together and organize. And as an organization, as a mass, as a body, like a legion, is a way for them to move forward, right? And that's really a lot of Sagittarius energy, is everybody, let's all get together. Instead of just one-on-one, let's talk to each other one-on-one. It's like everybody, let's everybody talk at once. This is exterminating that. This is getting rid of that. This is chipping away, or realizing that it's not just about chipping. It's like almost like you understand, you realize you're not going to be able to just chip away at things one by one. Eventually, you're going to have to dig in those walls and just suss out all the rats. Eventually. But you see that this big picture is made up of a tiny little fragments. And I do think that that's your end game, is like chipping away one by one by one. As long as you have a lot of patience. Transformation is beautiful has come out in reverse. So this is let me see. I was going to say shutting down, but that's not what this is. This is pausing. This is hanging out. This is staying in your cocoon. It's not that nothing is happening. It's that something is happening slowly, and you being willing to play the long game. Okay? So that's what this is. It's not about something dying. It's literally about something not yet ready to pop out of the cocoon. Not yet ready. And in a lot of ways, you're actually starting to see an effect of people coming toward you. Almost like a, what was it, Rip Van Winkle? The Pied Piper type of energy of luring people in your direction. It's like one by one, come toward me. And once, it's almost like you know that one by one leads to other people following those people and other people following those people. It's that that's what you understand, that being able to just grab one person's attention isn't just grabbing one person's attention. It's not just grabbing one person's attention, it's earning their loyalty. And once you've earned their loyalty, everybody that they know is now going to have you as a better image. So it's one by one you're taking the crowd. That kind of energy. Whoa. Time to heal. And this is somebody with strategy, but this is also Kundalini energy. Taking that energy deep in the pit of you, deep in your sacral energy, and using it, directing it, so that it works for you and so that it's actually released from you. Because this energy can remain or become very toxic if it seeps out slowly, or if it gets out of control. But this is a very upright, it is a very healing energy because it's used, because it's useful, because it's powerful. So you're taking what you know at the root and base of who you are, and you're conducting it. Almost like a snake charmer, right? You're playing with fire. You're playing with fire. It's almost you're playing with that Sagittarius energy. But you know what to do with it. You know how to direct it. You know how to guide it. You're not asking it to not be what it is, which is chaos and fire, but you're asking it to follow the path that you've conducted it on. You are taking a risk. Let's put it that way. You are taking a risk. I think that's part of the fun. 5, change is coming. So let spirit be your guide dropped out too. This is a change in perspective. I think, in other words, what you're working on is going to start working on you. In other words, not only are you going to be effective in changing a person or people's mindset, but you're in the process also going to be changing your own mindset. It's going to awaken something in you that you didn't realize, exposing you to those things. Happy birthday, Doug Denny. It's exposing you to those things that you could not have been aware of, were not aware of. So the change isn't just going to happen on the outside, it's actually going to happen on the inside too. But it's funny how it started, the change started from the outside in. It started on something that you were working on, and eventually will affect a change internally. Let it shine. So this is putting the spotlight on something, identifying something or recognizing something, something finally coming out of the dark. This is scorpionic energy, the energy of 10, 5 and 10. And then 11, now it's like all of a sudden the light bulb goes on. You've realized something that you didn't realize before, because really in the beginning, this was all about you. This was all about you fixing a situation or being stuck or being trapped in, right? It was all about you liberating yourself and getting people off your back or getting people to hear your side of things. But in this process, in your plan, and this is because you are a very mutable energy, you're able to listen to other things and take in that information. And honestly, you get something now that you didn't get before. This is like when you're watching all the pieces move, not only do you understand the game, but you start to understand and see a pattern that has to do with a much greater mystery. So this can very well be you going further and getting closer to a deeper sense of understanding or spirituality, or being enlightened to seeing something that was not easy to see. In other words, uncovering a truth. It would be a spiritual truth, though. It would be a mystical truth. It wouldn't necessarily be a societal truth, though it could be. Let's see what your grounding energy is. Take time out. This is very mama bear defensive energy. You see, you're discovering something that you didn't know was up. So if this is very close to your heart space, it could have had to do with something to do with your children that you didn't know what was going on with them. This is 6 energy. Energy of 5 plus 1 is 6, right? So this is staying on the surface, keeping things light, trying to protect somebody else from being hurt. I'm starting to understand this is children. And this is reclaim your power, 6644, 6644, adding both 10, 10. This is balance being restored. There was something happening with your children. There was something happening with either your family or your children, that in order to protect them, you needed to protect everything else. And it's almost like changing the world for your children. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like changing the situation for your children, or doing something. It's like knowing that if the crowd or the mobs were coming after you, they were eventually going to get to the people that you love and care about. And you weren't having that. So your grounding energy, that foundation that is supporting you, is the love and the protection and the obligation that you know you have to your kids, and letting their life be the best that they can be. And that is sort of your root energy of, I'm not going to let anybody treat me this way. I'm not going to let them bully me this way. I'm not going to let them hurt me this way, because if they hurt me, they actually hurt my kids. So ultimately, it's not about your ego at all. It's about protecting people that you care about. And even if it is about protecting your reputation, it's about protecting your reputation so it doesn't reflect badly on those people that you really care about. Geminis are very good parents. They tend to be very good parents. I know that there's bad, shitty people in all types. Believe me, there's deadbeats in all zodiac signs, even Cancers. But Geminis tend to be extremely good parents, and it's because they're interested in listening, and they're able to communicate even with the smallest, even with a person like a small child who can't communicate themselves. They pick up on cues very easily, so it's easy to know what they need and what they want. So there is a deep sense of loyalty, obligation, and defensiveness when you knew, because you're pretty easygoing, right? But you knew as they came for you, they would end up hurting your kids. And I think this is your grounding energy. You know, hold on. I'm going to flip the camera on so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. You see? This grounding energy. And honestly, I'm glad you stuck it out, because the grounding energy makes everything else make sense. Because I was not picking up, because it sounds like a whole mastermind, like devious strategy. It's not a devious strategy at all. This is defensive. This is you being protective. You know Bagheera? This is my Bagheera card. Bagheera from Mowgli in the Jungle Book, right? Bagheera always watched Mowgli from afar. You know, he protected him. You know, the wolves raised Mowgli, but Bagheera always watched from afar. He was just always his sort of shadow protector that made sure that nothing else. What did he do? He held down the peripheral, right? He held down the perimeter. He made sure that nothing bad got in if anything else was missed. And that's almost like what you're kind of doing now. You want to keep things happy. You want to keep things playful. You want to keep probably your children, or at least, you know, if you don't have children, maybe the futures. You want to keep the future light. You want it to relieve the burdens off them. So there's a very protective, skirting those perimeter energy about this, about wanting to protect something that is more precious than yourself. You know, it's not. This is about maybe a new chance or a new start for you, right? It's about being free and liberated. It's not about escaping responsibility. It's about a new fresh start, or a new fresh human, or your children that you're working to protect, realizing that all this other crap and these accusations are really going to eventually hurt them, and that's just not something that you could tolerate. These small things, these irritating things, these things, diving in. I'm going to get into this tarot card reading. Let's move to tarot. I'm going to flesh out more specifics. The link is below, and also that is your love reading as well. So come on over. I'll meet you over there. Bye, Gemini.